Check out my podcast show, Thoughts of a Light-Skinned Woman, Thursdays at 9 p.m. I talk about everything and anything. I'm all about sharing what I know and about learning as well. Hola, welcome to On the Wake Up Radio. Shout out to my producer, Cynthia Ashby. Tonight's episode is about being sexually free then and now. You're listening to my show, Thoughts of a Light-Skinned Woman. I'm your hostess, Boricua Angie. To call in, the number is 844-818-4433. You can catch us on thewakeupradio.com and otw2.com. As I say at every beginning of the show, some can relate, some appreciate, some hate. So as usual, what I always like to do is either give definitions, always try to, do some little research when it comes to whatever I'm talking about. So I basically Googled being like sexually free, but instead, it gives you other meanings. It says sexually free as a woman. So this one says sexually liberated. The freedom to partake in sexual activities with whomever you choose without discrimination or labeling, right? That's one definition. Sexually liberated, when a male, female is able to fuck as many people as they want and be open about their desires without feeling any guilt, judgment, or shame. Then the last one is the ideology of one shamelessly and often satisfying their sexual needs and desires without the burden of guilt or the judgment of established morally correct societal mores. One who, when horny, has no qualms finding someone to break him/her off proper, preferably many, many times over. This applies equally to women as it does men, and often the gender of sexual partner is moot as long as orgasm is achieved. There is usually mutual sexual desire, tension, and neither party has expectations of future encounters, though should they present themselves, they are rarely declined. Which, of course, in other terms, as ever since I finally did have sex and was no longer a virgin, those were called like booty calls, one night stands, whatever phrases and words you want to use to call what that was. So my thing, as I noticed now that I'm older, and even from before, once I had my son, and that is my oldest, my firstborn. So it was always in my mind. After some time, I guess probably could have been into my mid-20s or so, I was made to feel a certain way because here I am, thinking, I'm a single mom with a child. Let me go into the whole dating scene. Here I am thinking, people on there, the guys making you think like, oh, they're looking for something serious too. You're having conversations, whether texting, calling. Let's say maybe it can happen for 2 weeks, a month. It could even be several months because some don't even didn't even live in New York. So there was all that long distance communication as well. So then when the time came, thinking like, oh man, we're having such great conversations. The person seems pretty cool. Now when the time comes, you meet, have sex, guess what? All of a sudden, they do this whole little thing where they disappear. And I'm kind of like, oh, so that's how it works. But the thing that used to piss me off, so it's kind of like, it's the little game that I saw it as, because now, what if I didn't have sex? Now, would that person still be interested? Now, if I didn't have sex, then that means probably some of them wouldn't stick around because that's what they wanted. So I was a little bit confused about a lot of shit. That was one thing. Never liked it. So as time went by and I'm thinking to myself, I was like, hello, I'm a single woman. And I would love to know in this world, what is the problem with that? I didn't have no boyfriend. I didn't have no husband. I was not cheating on no one. Again, I am a single woman. So why can I not go out there and do what I want to do? I will never understand that. So of course, just like when I was reading the definitions, I didn't read the bottom part, I was labeled as a slut, whore, all those beautiful words that women get called because, hey, here we are having sex with different men. But of course, when it came to men, it was okay for them to sleep with like 20 to 100 to 1,000 women because they were the motherfucking man. Us women, no, not us. We had to be like the perfect little angel because we don't do things like that. But then I remember I don't think I created the word. I think it probably could have been out there from before, or maybe because I heard it. I started calling men too. It's like, if you're going to disrespect me, then I guess you're a man whore. Because after a while, I wasn't taking that. Like, I don't care. Again, I'm a single woman. Why can't I do whatever I want? Who said I was supposed to sit at home and not do anything and then wait for who? Where was the man that was going to become my future husband, or who was my fiance? There was nobody. So why the fuck was I going to sit at home waiting for who? I don't understand that. So of course I have this thing where, you know what, let's take religion out of this. Let's take religion out of all of this, because even every time I think about it, I just think it's bullshit. Let's take religion out of all of this. I always felt that everything always had to do with control. Women are always being controlled. That's what it's about. Forget religion. Forget this whole thing about people feeling that a marriage is a sacred thing. But then when you really think about it, what if you do have a potential who's going to be your wife? She's raped or something. So does that mean that she is no longer good because she's no longer a virgin, because she's no longer pure? Yeah, it's a lot of shit that when you really start to think about it, I'm just kind of like, yeah, we're going to take religion real far off of all this shit. With the way the world has been for so many years, it's kind of like, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Men can have dozens of women and women can't do that. Back then we couldn't. I mean, if there were women doing things we didn't know about it, hey, kudos to them. We ain't know. But I just find a lot of shit funny, because again, I just see it as, if you're single, especially again, since times have changed, I feel that marriage, especially for this generation, and I forgot from starting from what year, became it became less and less of a thing that women wanted to do. So it wasn't like women were thinking about, oh my God, I want to get married, this and that. That was probably back then. Now as everybody's just like, I'm an independent woman. Who cares about this whole marriage bullshit? Whatever. And then the funny thing is that after that too, half of these women already had sex with several men. So again, so does that make her not pure? Is something gonna happen because she got married and she wasn't a fucking virgin? That I know yet. The world has not frozen over. The world has not opened up for those people who have gotten married and weren't a virgin anymore. The world's still fucking rotating. Ain't nothing happened. Nothing has happened yet that I know. Nobody's going to hell for that. So, but it's always been one of those things where, you know, I've noticed that we as women, we've always been told how to act, how to speak, and what to wear. And it's always actually would come from our mothers too, from the people in our lives, when we're like, you know, whatever you're doing, that's not ladylike. We've always been given that thing of how women are supposed to act. And again, if we as women decided to all of a sudden, hey, we have sex, again, we're not virgins, here we are sleeping with different people. And again, I'm going to fucking keep saying again, if you're fucking single, I don't know what is the problem. And already, again, I became a mom. I'm a single mom. No, my God, I did not get married. Whatever. I'm a single mom. But again, if you're single, I want to know what is the problem. I want to know why in this world they would think that we as women were supposed to just sit around and wait. Wait for what? So I feel just like a man has sexual needs, so does a woman. I want to know how that works. As a matter of fact, that's why maybe, who knows, maybe some of them become nuns. I have no idea. But it's just like we are human beings. We have needs, you know? It's just a part of life. Which, hey, but that's another thing about that. I remember watching a video one time and I thought it was hilarious because I don't know if the guy that was doing the interview was I don't know if he was supposed to be like religious or I don't know what it was, but I think it was a talk show. It was something in between, either religious, talk show, whatever it was, but I just know he was doing an interview. And I love the girl. She just came on and she says, yeah, I'm a slut and I'm proud of it. I swear that was like the funniest thing ever. Like she didn't care. She said it. She's like, I'm a slut and I'm proud, you know? And it's just one of those things that it sucks that we as women, we have to be labeled. It's funny that men never are labeled. I mean, of course, in their own way, they're dogs. What else? Gosh, look at that. How many words can we think of men being what? Besides dogs, yeah. So I'm trying to think of other insults that I can think of with men who love to sleep around and can have sex with multiple women. It's funny, I can't even think of too many insulting words to say for men. But for women, sheesh. There's a freaking list. There is a list that goes on and on. But of course, my favorite, I told you, I'm like, it was always man whore. I swear that was always my little argument back towards somebody. I was just like, look, whatever. You want to be a man whore, that's on you. I was like, don't talk shit about me. Who gives a fuck who I slept with? Because you already slept with who knows how many fucking women. So I don't know how I made him any better than me. And it's funny that it's never been a thing. And I would love for somebody to correct me or whatever. I don't feel like it's ever been such an important thing for men to be fucking virgins. I've noticed that it was always women for that whole goal in life to get married, that the woman had to be a virgin. I've never heard about the fucking guy ever being a virgin, that they need to be a virgin. Like, I didn't feel like for men, for boys, for whatever, it was never such a big thing. Like, you know, like, hey, don't go sleeping around. Don't, you know, because when you find your future wife, you want to make sure you're a virgin. It's rare. I feel like it was always mostly for women compared to men. Never there was a conversation. I'm trying to think about it now, but it was always women. Like, women have to be the pure ones. It's rare you ever hear about the boy. Be like, hey, honey, you got to make sure you're a virgin for your future wife. No, you don't hear that too much. So I guess I know a lot of people used to hear this a lot. And it's always, I feel like it's always brought up in conversations, again, about when men are looking for the type of woman who, again, probably hasn't slept with too many men. If there are virgins out there, which of course, again, like I said, times have changed. But the fact that they didn't sleep around, so it was like, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? And I was trying to find a good one for the men, but I was just like, I don't want to say something and it sounds corny. I was like, this is the bullshit they would say for the women. It's like, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? I need one for the men because it's like, fuck that. It's like, what if I wanted a virgin? What if I wanted a virgin guy? What if I didn't want my man or my future whatever to have slept with so many women? To have put himself out there like that. And I don't give a fuck about that they do that so they can gain some experience so they could be good in bed or whatever. Bullshit. Nobody cares. I mean, then that should be the same shit for us. What the fuck? It should be the same thing for us. Oh, yes. So, yes, the names, the gigolo, the man thought, the player, all of those. A man sowing his wild oats. Oh, yes, I knew it. And it was funny because I was thinking about the pig one too. It says, why buy the pig when the sausage is always free? Who doesn't like free sausage? Who doesn't like free sausage? Sheesh, I love sausage. Like, fuck that. I ain't buying the pig. I feel like I always felt like shit should always go both ways. As a woman, I've always felt so tired because every time I think about it, we go through so much. And it's just a lot of things. Like I said, it's just image, behavior. Again, men could do shit and it's just like, oh man, you're the fucking man. Cool for you. And again, the same shit, whether how they behave, the shit they do, how many women they sleep. For them, it's okay. And I want to know who came up with this shit. Who started this whole thing that men could do whatever the fuck they want, and it's just like, yo, give me a high five because you're the fucking man. I want to know who started that shit. Who started that shit, and who told them that, yo, like this was the thing. But then us women, it's just like, oh my god, we're supposed to be like the purest things ever. We're not supposed to be talking a certain way. We're not supposed to be dressing a certain way, which again, it's bullshit. But so what I was talking about the sexually then and now. So again, when I first had my son, it was interesting of what was happening out there because in my mind it's just like, okay, so this is what sex is. It's funny because again, you won't know what you like, and I felt like different men did different things, but I feel like the sex back then compared to now, I feel like the sex back then was shitty. Like I was just like, it was really shitty sex. I'm sorry. Every time I think about it, it was really shitty sex. And in my mind, it's like, you really think you're the fucking man with your little small ass size penis and you could even fucking do anything for me, but you feel like, you know, whatever. But as I've gotten older, and because yes, I have more experience. I know what I like. I know what I want. I know exactly what I want. And I've gotten to that point now where I'm like, if I know I have sex with someone and they're not doing it for me, guess you know what? I'm going to go back to the person who knows exactly what they're doing. I want to go back to that person who's going to give me multiple orgasms, who's going to have me fucking sleeping right after sex, like that. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at after all those years of shitty sex. And then finally into my freaking mid-30s, into my 40, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is what sex is. I'm like, maybe I could have waited again, because that's what I thought the first time when I was just like, damn, I lost my virginity for what? I lost my virginity for what? So then I can encounter years later of all this shitty sex, because I felt like nobody really could do it for me. That's how bad it was. Until, again, later on in life, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, again, like I said, now I know exactly what I like. So it's so completely different. And I don't know if it's also an age thing, because like I said, as I said back then, I'm thinking like, gosh, you can tell the difference. You can see the difference. And it also had to do with size. All of that played a big part. So I'm just kind of like, again, I'm fucking single. Why can I not have fun? Why can I not do me? Of course, you know, there is the whole having the vibrator. If at one point, you know what, you can't find somebody that can do it for you, you got your vibrator. There's always options. There's always options. That's how I am. That's how it's been. Because I'm kind of like, again, if I can't find somebody who's going to do it for me, then I'm good. I don't want it. I don't want it. But yeah, it's just, like I said, I just think about it now as I'm older. And it's just a real shame that I really look at things so differently, because again, I'm thinking to myself, like, What's the big fucking deal? Again, who started this whole bullshit? But then I keep having to remind myself, because it also started because of religion. Religion, I feel, played a big part in that. Because again, now if religion wasn't involved and religion was never part of anything, how different would that be? Would people even say like, oh, hey, you know, I want to wait till we're married? I feel like things would be so completely different if religion never played a part in anything. It would be so different. And then the fact that it's disappointing that, because again, whether you end up being pregnant, you get raped, anything can happen, people will still make you feel bad. But again, as the world changes, as time changes, like, fuck it, who cares? We only have this one fucking life to be worrying about shit, because again, you have to be the pure one, the saint. Doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I feel like I believe in what I believe in, but when you really sit down and really start to think about shit, I just feel some stuff is just really stupid. I just don't really think it's fair. And especially with this whole thing about judging people, yeah, that's the thing. You really got to sit down and you really got to think about it. About like, hey, don't throw stones at glass houses. But then it's just kind of like, this is exactly what people are doing. They're judging other people. They're making people feel like shit. They're making people feel like you're the worst person in the world. Like, how dare you lose your virginity? How dare you do this? How dare you do that? But again, yes. So like I said, that was the whole thing about what I was saying with the whole being sexually free. Because again, I'm older, still not married. I never thought of it as a big deal. I'm going to say it again, that I was not a virgin. It was just more of like, hey, I'm a single mom. Here I am just trying to find someone to be with. And I wasn't even concerned about what my future whatever was going to think. Like, now I'm at the point, like, who gives a fuck? I'm going to keep saying that again. Like, who cares? I just feel as long as you're happy with the person and that's the person you want to be with, then that's it. Nothing else should matter. Because imagine that. I'm 40 right now, and then nobody wants to marry me or be with me because I'm not a fucking virgin anymore because I have 3 kids. Imagine that. Imagine if that was like the strictest type of rule there was in this world, that it was actually like a fucking law. You know what I mean? Like, that would be so fucking interesting. I would be like, right now, single because nobody wants me because, you know, again, I'm not a virgin anymore. I'm a mother of 3. It would be so hilarious of the type of world that it would be like, you know, the separation of, hey, all single people here with children live on this side, and then all the married people over there, and then the single people, you know, like, you know what I mean? That would be some interesting shit. That would be like a real fucking interesting show of the separation, because I feel like that's half of the shit that be happening. Everything is always a separation of something. We're always being separated somehow. But I would have thought I would have been funny. Another big thing back then too was that because here I am and I had kids, I also had men who didn't want to be with me because they were like, I have children, and they were like, they don't want to take responsibility. And then one day that child comes out and tells the person, hey, don't tell me what to do because you're not my father. Oh my goodness. All these things that have happened back then had me always thinking. I was just like, wow, that's really fucked up. Like, you wouldn't want to be with me just because of that. But in my mind, it's like, it's messed up. It's messed up what we say. It's messed up what kids say. But, you know, I'm just like, whatever. That person wasn't for me. But again, I was good enough to have sex with. And that was the thing that happened after a while. It took all of that to see the bigger picture of, again, all of this is just a fucking game. The fact that there are people out there in these dating sites saying that they're looking for something serious, which half of it, for some, not everybody, some of it is bullshit, because all they're doing basically on there is just looking just to fuck people and then treat them like shit. Like, I just fucked you, whatever. Now I'm moving on to the next woman. And that's the shit that would get me mad. Here I am. Back then, I would write my little profiles and I would put it out there. Some of these men hated that. They didn't like how straightforward I was. I'm like, look, if you're only looking for sex, just say that. Just say that. We don't have to play these little games. We don't have to do all this, hey, I'm interested in you bullshit, because that's exactly how some of them were. Like, I knew that's how some of them were. That's all the fuck they wanted. And I'm thinking, why we just can't keep it like that? And again, so then here I am being labeled as the slut, the whore, the many names that they give us, because there's other people out there playing games and not giving me the option of being honest, of like, what, this is what I want. And instead, let's play the game of like, let me have her think that I'm interested just so that I can get some. And then I could just like, throw her to the side, which I always thought I was kind of fucked up. And again, that's why after that, later on, I was just kind of like, fuck all this. Fuck this bullshit where, again, men feel like they can make women feel lower than low. No, that's not going to work anymore. I feel that as a woman, if I talk to my daughter, if I talk to other women, like, yeah, fucking say that. If that's how it's going to be, fucking say, yeah, I'm a proud slut. I'm a proud whore. I'm proud. It's hot girl summer. I'm proud. Fuck it. Because it's a shame. Because that's how I look at it. Like, it just sucks. Because, like, we're always being disrespected. But at the same time, again, half of these men are playing games. They're not giving nobody the option. So now if that person was a virgin and you take their virginity, knowing you didn't want nothing, but it was just the fact that because you knew she was a virgin and that was like your main goal, now you don't want to be with her. Oh, so guess what? Now she's no good. What the fuck? But again, that's the type of world that we live in. I just feel like a lot of things have been changing and should continue to change. And I feel people's mindset should change as well. Because again, I feel like certain things should not be tolerated. I think things need to be changed about how things are viewed. Like, a lot of things just need to change. I just don't think it should be seen as you have to be a virgin. Because again, I feel like as time, I've noticed that too, again, even besides the boys, but I feel like as time has gone by, I don't really hear it as much. Like, I don't really hear it like that's a thing where you tell your daughter, the young girls, like, honey, like, you better save your virginity for that man. Times have changed. These young girls now are having sex as young as 12, 13, 14 years old, maybe even 11. All of that shit goes out the window. As much as you can talk to them about sex, you can talk to them about the consequences. All of that shit has gone out the window. There is no them waiting and saying like, oh, I'm gonna wait till none of that. All of that shit just went out the window. It's I'm telling you, it's hilarious. I just think, again, I'm gonna be 41. I know exactly what I like, and that's it. Again, whoever wants to be with me, I have the numbers under my belt of I know how many people I've slept with. And again, I don't feel like that makes me any type of a slut, any type of whores, anything, because again, half of the shit that the men that I've slept with, again, I felt it was just like false, because they were making it seem like they were interested and they weren't. And could it have also been me to kind of have held out as well and not have done anything? But again, I'm like, for me, I was just kind of like, look, I already had sex. Who gives a fuck? There's no more waiting. So I was just like, why sit around and wait for what? I wanted what I wanted. But that's another thing I think about too, because I'm like, it's kind of like, I've thought about it a lot because I'm like, if I can't find the man who's going to give me exactly what I want, because that's another thing too. I have to find that man who's really open-minded to certain things that I like. I feel that when it comes to some men, I don't know, they be acting like they're scared, or they find like, no, because if some of you men who are married and you can cheat on your wives or your girlfriends with the slut next door, as you know, you know, as the word, as they say, with the woman who is promiscuous. Let's use that word. With the woman who is promiscuous, and the type of shit that she likes to do, and the backflips and everything else. But when it comes to the girlfriends and wives, they're looking at shit like, why are things weird? I wouldn't want to be with a man that doesn't like what I like. So I feel like all of that will go out the window. I can't be with someone who's going to look at me like I'm weird. What's wrong with her? What kind of kinky shit is this? I can't be with a man that's not gonna understand. And I'm at that age. I'm like, if I can't find that person, then I'll be by myself. Or if that other person is still single, that will be the person that I will go back to, because again, they know what I like. I was like, can I just get a little bit of that? Can I just be happy? Can I have an interesting sex life? Like, that's all I want. That's all I want. I just need that man to match me. That's all I want. And I'd be happy. Because again, like, why as we as women, everything seems weird. And when I really think about when it comes to men, when it comes to men, half of the things that they ask for. So here's a few things. It makes me laugh. There was a guy, and the type of things that he liked. You know, I was with that thing, like, you know, stroke my dick, spit on it, suck, lick my balls. And it's funny because I'm like, all these things that, you know, they ask, and then some of them they won't do other stuff. But some of you men can request all that shit. Stuff like that I'm just looking like, oh, so you're not going to reciprocate. You're not going to do these type of things I like, but this is the type of shit you want me to do. Okay. Because I've been in that situation before, and it gets to the point where I'm like, I don't have a problem doing certain things, but I feel like I want something in return as well. And again, of course, if I'm going to have that good sex, then maybe certain things I don't care. I wouldn't want it. But yeah, I just, oh my gosh. Like I said, the stories that I have, like I said, I've been with men with all sizes. And that was the problem too. So the whole thing about just because a man has a big penis, that doesn't mean anything. Everything in life, it's always like, you have to know what you have, and you know how to work, you know how to use it and how to work it. That is the main important thing. You can have a big dick and it won't even mean nothing. That shit probably won't even do anything. It's been funny because there have been men who have been small or average and can still kind of hit those spots. And you're just kind of like, okay, they know what they're doing. Not even a big guy. They're not big, but average or small, but they know what they're doing. So when that whole shit that be saying size matters, it depends. It depends. Again, if they know what they're doing. Because other than that, then size don't mean shit. It doesn't mean absolutely nothing. And again, I'm going to say it again. This is where I'm at. At this point in my life, I'm 40. As that whole thing where they be calling us cougars and all that good shit. That's where I'm at. Like, having to be satisfied. I want to have that good sex. And you know, again, it is true, because as long as you know what you like and what you want, that makes a big difference. It's not like, you know, let me just go pick up some guy, whatever, and then that's it. No, I need to know. I mean, there's always that whole thing where, you know, you get to try it out that one time and then see if, you know, Maybe there might be some few other times that's like the definitions. And again, those are called booty calls, friends with benefits, all that good stuff of those certain people you keep around because, again, you know what they do. I'm one of those people that I have not kept certain people around because I'm like, if you couldn't do it for me that one time, I'm good. And those are the same people that would try to hit me up later on. And I'm over here like, you know how sometimes you don't want to be mean. I try not to be too mean about it. I really wouldn't tell them honestly why I would never get back, return their calls or just really see them again because of shit like that. Like, that one time was good enough for me. I can't, that's not the type of sex I want to be having night after night. Again, like I said, my boyfriend, if you hear me, my boyfriend, future husband needs to be with the shits. They need to be very open-minded. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Because if you want stuff done, I have no problem doing. I want shit done to me too. So I need that man to be at my level. I'm not accepting anything less of that. And again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. It's hard really, like I said, because of that whole judgment thing and how women are looked. It's really hard to find men out there who are really open. Because again, I feel like I've talked to a few and I've brought up some stuff and they're just kind of like, they didn't really know what I was talking about or they were curious about it. So again, and I'm one of those people like, if you don't know what you're doing, especially so there's this whole other world and it's called BDSM. Now, it's one of those things if you don't know what you're doing because you have not done that, that's not your thing. You're not a dom. You haven't done that for years. You have no experience, nothing. That will be the last thing I want. I've had asked before during times of having sex for things to be done. And I was really disappointed because I'm like, this is not, I feel like you could literally choke me to death because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So things like that. I'm just kind of like, I need somebody to know exactly what they're doing. Again, we're human beings. We all have sexual needs, desires. I'm going to be that person that, again, like I said, if I can't find what I'm looking for, I'm always going to go back to that person who knows exactly what they're doing. Because like I said, I'm 40. What do I need to continue having shitty sex for? I already did that in my youth, from my 20s into my 30s. I was like, I'm good. I felt like once I got a taste of what it is and exactly what sex should be, there's no turning back. There's no turning back. That's where I'm at now. Like I said, there is no going back. And it's been like that for a couple of years. It's funny because it's been like that maybe for what? 35, 36. So at least a good 4 or 5 years now where, I've come across people who know exactly what they're doing. And I'm just like, yeah. So like I said, there's no going back when it comes to that. I just really hope whoever's listening that, again, you have to understand that we as women, fuck it. When you really think about it, as the song goes, who runs the world? Girls, even though she used the word women. But, in a way, we do run the world. As they be saying, like our vaginas. Our pussies run the world. We rule this shit when you really think about it in reality. But even though it says a man's world, I don't really know. Because we still kind of... No, I really think that, we women really do rule the world when it comes to a lot of shit. I mean, look at the movie Helen of Troy. I don't know if anybody's remember seeing that because I've seen I don't know if it was like the 1970s, 1980s version of it, and then the more up the remake of it. I was like, Look at what the fuck a woman did. Causing a fucking war, a battle, just to get her back. Just to get her back. Fucking thousands of men killed for this fucking woman. Now, what the fuck does that tell you? Because if that piece of pussy was nothing, and because now she's fucked another man with somebody else, he still wanted that. He still wanted that piece of pussy. He still wanted that woman. That was his wife. Whoever she was, he still wanted that back. Don't give a fuck what she did. That was his. That was his. He was going to get that back. And there's a lot of shit that's like that. Men, I mean, I'm not saying there haven't been women who kill for men, but there will be men that would kill for certain shit. There are men that would kill for women if they ask for it with the snap of a finger. So do we not really rule this world with our pussies, really? So we're supposed to be the big sluts and the whores, but we really do kind of rule shit when you really think about it. We are the strong ones here, because if we get into this whole women giving birth, when it comes to women tolerating pain, because I had just learned that I don't know how long ago, the difference of a woman tolerating pain, whether they're sick, whatever it is, even giving birth, compared to a man when he's fucking sick. You've ever heard of the stories about that? How men act like big fucking babies and women can be sick and they will still fucking take care of the house, take care of the kids, and do a lot of shit? Yeah, I know. We women are pretty fucking tough. We have some tough vaginas. We really are the ones. We really do rule shit. We really do. But again, don't ever feel ashamed. Don't care what nobody says. Again, we're living in a different time, in a different world. I feel like some of these things should be accepted. Nothing's wrong if you want to sleep with different people, because again, that's why people came up with the term booty calls and friends with benefits and one night stands, because people came up with this shit. It's okay. It's okay. Don't ever feel ashamed. Oh, and then what was that? The also that thing too. Oh my goodness, Cindy, if you can help me. It was I think like the walk of shame, when you do go either have a one night stand or whatever, and then you happen to like leave from that person's place still with the same clothes from last night going home. It's like, fuck that. Yep, do the fucking walk of shame. Do the walk that you went and got fucked, but if you had a good time or you didn't, whatever. Life is too short to be fucking worrying about things, because you never know. Maybe next time you won't get some ass, so might as well enjoy. Do the fucking walk of shame. Don't ever let no man ever tell you otherwise. Don't, just when you think about certain shit, just laugh, because again, who cares? It is what it is. Men sleep with as many fucking women as they want, and again, you know, why aren't they being called certain things? I mean, they have, of course, but why aren't they made to feel bad for the type of shit that they do? They should be made felt to feel as bad as women for the fact that they weren't even fucking virgins, or they weren't even fucking virgins by the time they got married. We should be doing the same shit they do to us. We should do it to them. Because again, we're living, I guess, like I said, we're living in a different world. Times have changed. The whole gender roles, bias, all of that. Times have really changed. But again, do you have a great time? Don't ever feel ashamed, guilt. There's nothing wrong. Like, I'm going to say it again. The world has not frozen. The ground has not opened up, because you know how many people have done this shit already? We're all perfectly fine. We're still here. We're alive and we're breathing. Nothing bad has happened. Nobody has ever come back. Nobody has ever haunted anybody and say, bitch, don't lose your virginity, because this is where you're going to end up if you don't fucking get married as a virgin. I don't think nobody's ever come back to warn anybody about that type of shit. So that means we're good. Don't mind me, but I just find that funny. Because, yeah, I'm like, so many fucking scary stories that we hear. I still haven't heard anybody yet saying about, girl, don't lose your virginity. You better wait. None of that bullshit. So we're good. Ain't nothing going to happen. This is all of that's just bullshit. I feel half of that stuff, like I said, I feel it's just been a way to just really control us, especially us, the women. If you look around the world with so many things that happen, it's a real shame of women having to be covered up, women not being allowed to read, women to the point of being mutilated, of their clitoris being cut off. It's just a lot of shit when you really think about it. As we as women, how much we suffer is really sad. It's sad that, again, we can't even enjoy life. We can't be as free as we want to, which of course some of us are. And again, if you happen to see social media, TV, things like that, if you see how women look now, half of these women now, it's been more open and more exposed of how women look in pictures, how women look in videos, even the shit women say on their fucking music videos. Like, look at people like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, so many other women. Like, if you hear their lyrics, it's no more that whole let's be, ladylike when we're singing and watch what we say. It's all that shit just has gone out the window, Even they're talking about how they like sex, threesomes, whatever. Even they're dominating in the bedroom. So a lot of that has changed so much. I feel like it gives women, I don't know if we could say it's kind of like an empowerment type thing, which of course, again, it's not a bad thing. I just feel at the same time, I guess, just how far you go and how extreme certain things are, but we should be able to be who we want to be, and especially women be free. Just recently at the Pride Festival, and that's another thing that I've been kind of feeling, I guess, cautious about, but that we should be able as women to walk outside, to look a certain way without being harassed. Because there was a lady who I saw was wearing this, I can't explain it, but it was a shirt. So it was a shirt, and it was basically, it was just covering her front. So I guess if you want to call it like a little halter, because of course you can see her back, the back part was open. So basically she had no bra on. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about in one of my episodes about like body image and stuff like that. She had some saggy boobs. She ain't give a fuck. She wore that shirt. She was there having a good time. She didn't care. And that was another thing. Like, she's walking around braless with just something that's just covering the front, and that's it. And this is in Park Slope. This is in Park Slope. This is in Park Slope. Even in Flatbush, not too far from where I'm at here, a lady was walking by, and it was a windy day. Did you know that when that wind blew that dress up, that lady had no underwear on? And my friend saw that homegirl was shaved. She said that she looked like it was a baby, like she was just shaved. That's how well you could see once that dress blew up, that you already knew she had no fucking panties on. And she ain't care. She wasn't even worried if anybody saw that she's walking around commando. You know what I mean? She didn't care. So that's the type of thing I feel like it has to get to that point where we as women need to be comfortable with ourselves sexually, everything else, that we need to get to that point where we need to feel comfortable, and fuck whatever anybody says. Fuck what men say. Because again, if they're not doing anything for us, they're not paying our bills, they're not taking care of us, they're not doing anything because we're doing it ourselves, then fuck whatever anybody says. You know what I mean? Fuck what anybody says. Because that's the point where I've gotten to in my life. I want to walk around with crazy hair. I'm going to walk around with crazy hair in my neighborhood. Whatever. People are going to stare. Again, if you're not doing nothing for me, if you're not going to pay to get my hair done, I'm going to walk outside how I want to. If I want to walk around in a nice little dress, braless, just from here to the corner, I'm going to do it. It's just that whole thing of just being able to just feel good about yourself. Just be free, because I feel like that's where we at in our lives. It's just about being comfortable, because people are so fucking judgmental about every little fucking thing. And we should be able to feel comfortable in our own skin. We should feel comfortable in whatever the fuck we do. If we want to sleep with 10 men in one day, 20, if the fucking list of men throughout the years is a high number, who gives a fuck? As long as you're a good person or whatever, you're doing what you need to do. Who cares about what you do on you know what I'm saying, on the side? Who cares? Again, people are just very, very, very judgmental. And people will make you feel a certain way to kind of break you down or just make you feel bad. Like, hey, that's not acceptable. That's not how you should look. That's not how you should act. That's not ladylike. Oh, you've been around the block. So many fucking phrases and things that I hear about when it comes to women is so annoying. But yeah, it's like, you've been around the block. Or be like, all these guys have had her. Like, and it's funny. That's another thing before I end the show, is that whole thing of men will talk about a woman a certain way, but then they want to fuck her. They know this is the same woman who has slept with the men around in the neighborhood, but they still wanted a piece of her. And this is something that I remember from when I was younger about this young lady who lived in my neighborhood, and how these men around there wanted her. And if I'm correct, I think I can only assume, don't know if it's true or not, but I just know that my brother's father was probably one of those people who probably might have done something with the young lady from the neighborhood, because again, it seemed that she liked what she liked. Don't know if she got money from it. I have no idea. But this is me back then when I'm younger. Don't know. She got money. She didn't. I have no idea. But she got around in the neighborhood. Again, the men in that neighborhood wanted her. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's really fucked up. It's like, so, she's the girl that the men in the block have fucked, but then you want to fuck her. So I need for somebody to help me understand that. Like, she's not good enough, but she's good enough to fuck. And knowing that she's been with the people in the neighborhood, but you still want to, as they say, you still want to tap that. Which, that shit to me, that's when you get to the point where it's just like, fuck everybody, fuck everything, and just do you, live your life. As long as you ain't causing no harm to anyone, not trying to do anything, like I said, it's fucked up, any harm to yourself or anything. Again, I'm going to say it again. Enjoy your life. Do whatever the fuck you want. If ain't nobody doing nothing for you, fuck what anybody says. It's your body. And that's a whole nother thing too. It's your body. And especially after you hit a certain age, it's your body. Not anybody else's. It's your body. You want to fuck around with who you want to fuck with? That's on you. Oh, as long as you get tested, get checked and all that good shit. But again, it's your body. It's your body to do with as you please. But I just want to say thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, because I said as time goes by, I'm still, I feel like even though I've been doing this a few episodes, but I know in time I can definitely get better. I will hopefully will have people come on. So that would be like the next thing that I would love for it to happen, for people to actually, eventually to come on the show. But I'm going to say it again. I'm so grateful for this. For me, this is it's a learning, I'm learning from this, and I'm really grateful that I've been able to do this. And whoever's been listening, thank you so much. So with that being said, I'm going to say it again. Thank you to the listeners for tuning in. Check us out on the wakeupradio.com and otwtube.com. You can catch replays on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Thank you for listening to Thoughts of a Light-Skinned Woman. Shout out again to my producer, Cindy Ashby. Tune in next week on the Wake Up Radio at 9 for another segment of Thoughts of a Light-Skinned Woman. Remember, life is too short. Enjoy life to the fullest. Good night until next time. Bye.
You, the people, have the power to create happiness. Let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make make this life a wonderful adventure. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us all unite.
OTWTube.com, uncensored free speech platform.
Look it up.
Flawed individual.
Thanks for keeping the lights on, Deang.
Cindy Ashby Production.
On the wake up.